if you have a dog, you probably know some of the foods that aren't safe for them to eat, like chocolate.
That's right, but that's not the only thing that can make your dog sick. As Fox 5's Tashani Whitlow shows us, there are a lot of toxic dangers dog owners need to be aware of.
Dr. Klein, we're in a kitchen. A lot of folks obviously cook with their pets, and their pets are around looking for things to eat off the floor. So what are some dangers that we need to stay away from and be aware of?
Well, the most common dangerous food items are things like onions and garlic and chives. They're kind of what we call the allium family. And amazingly, they can be very toxic to dogs because they have an enzyme in it that causes destruction of red blood cells. And it causes what we call hemolytic anemia. And a dog has to eat a fair amount of onions, but if it's a small dog, it doesn't take as much to cause toxicity. So onions and garlic, chives are problematic to dogs, cooked or raw. Another common household items are grapes and raisins. If a dog eats grapes, it can potentially cause kidney issues. So if a dog gets into grapes or raisins, you should always call a vet as soon as possible so they can try to either get the grapes out by reducing vomiting, and sometimes fluid therapy as well.
And those are those little things when you're washing them and taking them out of the bag,
and they
slide right on the floor.
Right, slide on the floor, or in a cookie, chocolate with raisin in a cookie, and raisins in a box. Now, not all foods are poisonous. Some foods are dangerous, however. Things can get lodged in the intestines or in the throat and the esophagus. Things like corn on the cob, or peach pits, or even an apple core. You know, a dog might eat a whole apple or part of it, and they can get lodged in their system. So that can be problematic. And the seeds in an apple have cyanide in them, which can be toxic to a dog as well.
Artificial sweeteners, which we all use for our coffees, our teas, also dangerous for our pets.
The artificial ones containing xylitol are toxic, and xylitol is a product that can unfortunately lower a dog's blood sugar level within the first few hours, and long term, if they get into enough of it, can cause kidney issues. And the problem with xylitol is hidden into a lot of little baked things. Pumpkin pie filling, a lot of baked items contain xylitol. Sugarless gum is a common reason why dogs get into it that has xylitol. And so if a dog gets into that, call a vet right away.
What are some of the telltale signs that your dog is in distress?
Well, I think it would depend on the type of dog, what it got into, and how long it got into it. So the longer something is in a system, the more potential you'll see the signs developing. But usually the signs of toxicity are a combination of gastrointestinal, vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes neurologic signs. In other words, hyperactivity or severe depression.
Not only are we concerned about poisonous foods or toxic foods, right? But what about medications that sometimes just slip out of your hand and on the floor and you don't know where it went?
Well, one of the most common presentations at the emergency clinic are dogs getting into non-prescription human medication, like non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, ibuprofen, Advil, naproxen, Aleve, because people have them all around the house. They may have a bag of them in their purse on the floor. We have a house guest visiting and they have a Ziploc bag with medications, and dogs get into that, and that can be very toxic.
So if you get into a situation like that, should you force your dog to throw up?
The first thing to do is call your veterinarian, and if your veterinarian's not open, call either the nearest emergency service, which you should have a magnet on your refrigerator, or the ASPCA also has a poison control hotline, which people should have access to. Always call a veterinarian or a hotline first before doing any kind of action.
And they can be sneaky too.
Well, we all kind of, that's why we love them.